Travis Martell with Martell.elite Fitness. In today's video, I'm going to go over what I believe is the most butchered exercise by hockey players, and that is the trap bar deadlift. Hockey players have nice, big, strong quads, which is a good thing because you do need them while you're skating, right? You need them to get nice and low in your stride. The problem with that is they want to do everything with their quads. So when they're doing a trap bar deadlift, an exercise that's going to try and help strengthen hamstrings and glutes, they're going to want to try and squat it. What I mean by that is when they get in the bar, they get down, they pick that weight up, rather than pushing through their hips first, they squat it. So they're coming down into here and standing back up. Well, this isn't necessarily a bad exercise. This is a good quad exercise. What we don't want to do though is we don't want to continue to feed the quads. We want this exercise to help build good posterior strength through those hamstrings and through those glutes. So in order to do that, the cue we like to use is slightly push back through your hips. So almost imagine that someone has their hands or your own hands are on your hip and they're just pushing your hips ever so slightly back. Once you're back a little bit, then you can start to descend down into that normal pattern. So to pick that bar up, we always want to make sure that we're holding on to it initially. Get down, back through the hips, even grip on the bar, remove that slack and stand. So to perform the trap bar properly, knees are slightly bent so we're not locked out. I want that first motion to be back through my hips. As I lower, I should feel a little bit more weight through my heels, but I never let my toes come up off the ground. So I'm always thinking big toes are hard into the floor, squeeze the glutes at the top as well as the core. Pushing back through, sitting into my heels, big toes in contact, squeeze glutes, squeeze core. The glutes and the core act as the brake as I'm accelerating up and through. So when you're performing this exercise, if you can, film yourself from the side and see, are you squatting the trap bar or are you deadlifting the trap bar? And so the squat looks like this. I got knees forward, I'm sitting into this position, and I stand up. So this is me squatting the trap bar. This is what I see a lot of hockey players do. It's good if you want to continue to strengthen your quads. However, your quads are already strong enough. You need to strengthen through glutes and hamstrings because that's where you're going to get all your power from. So we want to deadlift, which is pushing back through the hips, squeezing glutes, squeezing core at the top, pushing back, squeezing up, squeezing through. The other thing you'll notice with the trap bar deadlift too is a lot of athletes, the hockey guys, right, they won't have a strong enough upper back to hold their shoulders into good position, which then will cause that upper back to round, which then there's a greater chance that lower back will round. So once they start pushing back through their hips, they're doing a good job there. If their upper back is weak, so they might be able to pick it up in good position, and then as they go, they don't have the strength to hold it there, so they'll start to round through their upper back, and then there's a greater chance they'll round through their lower back as they're performing this exercise. Even though they're pushing back through their hips, there's too much rounding going on. So you want to make sure you're nice and strong through your upper back so you can keep those shoulder blades retracted the entire time. So as I push back through my hips, I want to continue to draw shoulder blades back so I'm able to keep a nice flat back the entire time. So if you're noticing that yourself or your athlete is rolling through the mid back, kind of upper back, start performing some exercise that's going to help strengthen that upper back so they can keep those shoulder blades locked as they're performing the trap bar deadlift. The other thing we want to make sure is that chin staying tucked so that distance between chin and collarbone stays the same through the entire exercise. So I don't want to see as I go down that this gap becomes bigger and bigger, and then as I stand up it comes back here again. That distance stays the same the entire time. Once again, the trap bar deadlift, I believe, is the most butchered exercise by hockey guys because they want to squat it. They actually want to squat everything. So we need to start getting into hamstrings and glutes if you want to become a more powerful skater on the ice.